more with their seriously. Oh, isn't that always fun when you can't connect to the server? Isn't that great? Even though it shows we're live. Well, I guess we'll just have to do this the hard way, because it wants to not be very friendly. Alright, well, we'll just do it like this. Hey Tony, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for coming on by here. We got another live unboxing here. Oh my gosh, this is a big one. This is a big one. As you can see, pretty big box here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me know in the chat if you can. I'm trying to have to do this the hard way since it won't connect. Currently playing D-Day at Peleliu. Oh, wow. It's exciting. Alright, so we got Stalingrad, East Front, 1942-1943. This is expansion for Old School Tactical Volume 1, which is the East Front. And it's designed by Shane Logan. And it's a Mark H. Walker game from Flying Pig Games. You can hear me good. So Old School Tactical Stalingrad, right. So some of you guys know that I actually purchased the Stalingrad expansion on the Wargaming Vault. And I have all the mats printed out. I was having all kinds of problems printing out the counters and getting these working right. So I kind of gave up hope and just decided, you know what? We're just going to play. We're just going to go ahead and buy it. So that's what we ended up doing. The Stalingrad expansion adds more deadly battles for OST players to fight in the city ruins, fight in the nail factory as Russian workers, and guard units battle German assault troops for control. With the Volga at your back, you must hold your ground in the 13th Guard sacrifice when the Germans commit to destroy the Guards. End the bloody struggle with the large battle Death of the 16th Army. These battles and many others offer a new set of challenges on this historical-based map of the destroyed city. Ownership of Old School Tactical Volume 1 is required to play this expansion. Ages 14 up, 2 players, 45 minutes to 5 hours playing time. You get one huge 13 by 41 inch mounted game board with 1-inch hex, one die-cut counter sheet of 3/4 and 7/8 inch counters, and a full color rulebook. So let's take a look. If I can find my, there it is. There we go. Let's take it out of the shrink. See what happens. Out of the shrink it comes. Alright, there it is. Shrink wrapped no more. No more, no more. Let's open it up and see what we got. So, we get the scenarios. Stalingrad 1942, 1943. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scenarios. Varying in length from 7 turns to 16 turns. We played the Rottenkrieg scenario. So that is done. It's in full color. So that's super good. Just a few pages. That's good. And of course we get our counter sheet with our beautiful counters. Let's take a look at some of these counters, shall we? And if the thing would stop wiggling, that would even help. There we go. There's a Panzer 4E and a Panzer Stug 3B. Another one, Stug B. Some Marauders there. Let's see what we have here. Is it a 5E? I can't tell. And of course some Soviet units as well. Some regulars, some pioneers, some flak guns, guard units, NKVD units, commissars, T-34s, KV-1s, road hexes, irregular units. So, and of course, our big, huge map board. So I really like these big map boards, but here is the problem. I think, personally, I love the big map boards, but I think they may have screwed up with these big map boards. Because a lot of people do not want to play a game where they literally have to have a table that's going to be so big to play this. As you can see, I'm still trying to open this sucker up. And so here we go. Opening it up. Trying to anyways. Ugh. There we go. We got it open. As you can see how big and massive this is. It is huge. Absolutely huge map board. And what I think they should have done was they should have created one map board and a second map board and then have you put them adjacent to one another. Great map boards and being mounted and everything is great. Don't get me wrong, I love that. But it's almost to the point where it's unmanageable. That's why when I created these, right, I just put a couple sheets together. And you can see here, a lot of the scenarios only use a certain section of the map. So I can play this and have this out. It doesn't take up as much room. Then you have your other counter sheets and your other units ready to go. You keep track of all your impulses and everything. Off to the side, you don't have this huge board. So unfortunately, you can see just by having, this is just 3 pieces of the board. And you can see how much room this takes up. And that's only going to be 3 of these sections when this is so massive. It looks great, don't get me wrong, I love it. And having the extra big counters is super good, but man, it's just so unwieldy if you don't have a lot of room out. So if you don't have a lot of room, what you can do is do what I did and go to the Wargaming Vault. You can buy these. You can print out your own maps, put them into different sections. I just printed these out in 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and then put them together and just taped them. And you really, they look just as good. But this is just like 1/4 of the map board. So this would be like the bottom left-hand corner. And then you'd have another 3 sheets for the bottom right-hand corner. And the top, and the top. So you can see how much space you need. Unfortunately. So I think they should have created smaller sheets that they could have then put together in different hexadiagonal units, I guess. So, you are paying for this huge map board. You don't get a ton of counters, right? You just get one map sheet of counters. And beautiful counters, punched out, ready to go. Rounded corners, beautiful, thick, great counters, 2-sided. The top-notch quality there. top-notch quality on the map board. It's just, like I said, you're going to have a good 6 by 8 foot table to play it, unless you can do something like what I did and just print out into your different sections and kind of do the same thing. I kind of did this. Let me kind of show you something when I was talking, like I'm talking about. So here's another one of their map boards that I've got sectioned off. But here, for example, what I ended up doing, I think it actually goes like this. I think it goes like this. So this is actually the map board for one of the scenarios. So it starts at V or X21, goes over to, or maybe it's X20 over to N20 down to the map board. So this is like for a specific scenario. So what I ended up doing was just taking that section of the map, printing it out, cutting it up, putting it and taping it together. And now when I play that scenario, I don't need any of the other map boards or anything like that. And I did that for a couple of the scenarios here. Was this one of the scenarios? No. This is a different one. Let's see if I can find. So here's the 4 that I made for this map board. And you can just see how big, these are, I cut it up into 4 sections to make it manageable. Because like I said, you're not going to use the whole map board in one section. That doesn't go there. This goes there. So this would be the whole map board lengthwise for one. You can kind of see how big it is. So that's what I ended up doing with this map board, was just saying, okay, well, what I'm going to do is just I'll just cut out the section that needs for that scenario, print them out, and play that scenario. And I did that for a couple of their scenarios, but here you can see I got all kinds of stuff here, don't I? Let's see here. Here's another one. Hey Philip, how you doing? Here is for the first scenario, actually. This is for scenario number 1, who just uses this section of the map. So I just took it, printed out on 4 sheets, taped them together, and I'm ready to go with that scenario. So I wish I would have done something like that. Cut up their map boards into smaller sections, especially since they only use a certain section on every one of their scenarios of the map board. They only use a quarter of the map board, so they should have printed it out in sections like this big and then given you 4 of those map boards that you can put together to make up your own scenarios or whatever. So unfortunately, I think it was a missed opportunity, and I think that's why Old School Tactical, although it's a great game and a lot of people really, really like it, I think it hasn't really caught on as much as I think it should have. The system is great. It's easy. It's a good tactical system. You get great quality components and everything. It's just I don't think a lot of people want to deal with that huge map and having to deal with it. Trying to have the space. Because once you have the map board out, then you have to have all your other tokens out, so it's not just the map board. You have to have other space for your counters and everything, your dice roller and everything. And you have this huge map board out that's taking up a huge area, and then you just use a little section of the map board. So if I'm playing face to face with somebody, they got, I got the scenario over here. They can't see it from way over there. So they got to reach over the table. They got to try and, get over to where they can see what's going on. They got to reach across, knocking counters out of the way, and all kinds of problems. Instead of having it in a nice, neat, manageable section. That's just my thoughts. I mean, great quality components. Great scenarios. We had great fun playing Rottenkrieg. Scenario 1. Scenario 2 looks like it's mostly infantry again, with some satchels and some light machine guns and some Molotovs. Section 3, or Scenario 3, has a couple tanks, a flamethrower, AT rifles, a couple AT guns. So, you know, very manageable system. I love the counters. I mean, you know, being able to pop them out, put them on your map, and you're ready to go. It's just so good. It's just so good. I can't tell you guys. I spent literally last night, after we did our live unboxing of Desert Steel, right? We did our live unboxing of Desert Steel last night. I literally spent 3 hours going through and clipping the counters on all these counters here. And all I kept thinking was, man, I hate clipping counters. Oh my God, do I hate clipping counters. Why don't these companies... Now this is an older game, right? So this is an older game. That they didn't have the rounded corners back in the day. But nowadays, right? We don't want to be messing with clipping counters. I know I don't want to be. So it's so nice to have. It's so nice to have great quality stuff where you can just, oh, I need 3 assault units. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I need a sergeant and a lieutenant. I need 2 pioneer units, 3 pioneer units. I need a captain and a lieutenant. I need 4 shock units. I need pack 80. What is this? Pack 38. You know, and boom, I'm ready to go. You know, pop out a couple more, set them up on the board, and you're ready to go. Literally last night, 3 hours. 3 hours of time clipping those counters. So it really makes you appreciate the quality of the stuff that's coming out nowadays. You know, much thicker counters if we compare those to the other ones. Oh my gosh. That was, hey Brian, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey Tom Keeney, how you doing? Good to see you. I was just checking out the chat to see what's going on. So, great tactical system. The system works really well. We, really good scenarios, fun gameplay, very brutal. You're getting killed left and right, and you know, which is the way it should be, I guess, you know, for Stalingrad. Map's beautiful, wonderful. Again, the only issue I have with it is it's just so big and unwieldy. So I am very glad that I bought the files off of Wargaming Vault so I can print out the map myself. And then I can break it up into whatever sections I need to be able to use it and play it for the different scenarios. We use my map on the Rottenkrieg scenario. Great counters, great quality. You can see nice and thick, two-sided. It even has a little thing on it to show you that they're reduced. Here's your Pack 38. Great quality. Wonderful. So, looking forward to getting, you know, you do need to have Volume 1. So now that we got the counters, we got the map into a reasonable format that we can use on my little desk. I think it's going to be much more manageable this way. We'll be able to get a few more scenarios and on the table for you guys, which would be super cool. And of course, you know, when you're done with these counters, what you can do is just take them and put them back into the little things if you don't want to lose any of them. So that's it. There's not much you get with this. A huge map, a sheet of counters, and some scenarios, and that's about it. And just more good stuff for Old School Tactical Volume 1. See there, I got them all put away. I can wiggle this. Oop. One will fall through, but probably because I have my finger on it. Oop. Where are you? Get back here. So, I mean, they do a pretty good job of just staying in there. You can see. Except for this one guy. Anywho. Great counters. Real good system. Not too complex. But you're paying for a huge map board that I just think is a waste. So hopefully, you know, if they reprint these, they'll cut that map board up into more reasonable parts. Or they'll use, you know, if they had scenarios that used like the whole map board, that would be a different story. But you know, I think there is only, if I'm not mistaken, there is none of the scenarios for this that actually uses the whole map board. Nope. Oh, there is one. Death of the Sixth Army uses the entire map. So there is one of the 8 scenarios which uses the whole map. Otherwise, you're just using a section of the map. This is a much bigger scenario as well. Lots of units in it. Oh man, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yeah, there's 2 pages on this scenario. These are all the German units, and then of course all the Soviet units on the next page. So you're getting 8 scenarios, you're getting a counter sheet, and you're getting a huge map board. So if they sold just the scenarios and the counters, that's what I would like. The map board, not a big fan of the backboard, to be honest. I love the map board being mounted. Don't get me wrong, I love that. I think all map boards, you know, gamers nowadays should request map boards that are mounted, so they're not all bendy and how do you play solitaire? I just run both of the units. I run both sides. It's not that hard because it's an impulse thing. So you go, I go, you go, I go. So and of course Stalingrad, ruined city, few roads, not much other rubble terrain. Ruined buildings. There are level 2 buildings and level 1 buildings. That's pretty much it. That's all you're going to get in Stalingrad. Some shell hole hexes. I don't think there's much else in the area of terrain features. So it's good close-in fighting. The buildings give you defensive bonuses. You get your armies meeting, and then they just have these huge melees where they're throwing Molotovs and grenade bundles at one another, and just bloody, and things are blowing up left and right in like a section. It's definitely close-in fighting, which it should be for Stalingrad. So scenarios are fun. Just have to deal with this huge map. It's 4 sections wide, so this is just 1, 2. So think of double this section, and then of course you got a bottom section as well. So it's 2. So this would be 1/4 of the map, I think. Is it 4 wide or 5 wide? Let's see. It is. Yeah, it's 4 wide by 4. Okay, so it's 4 by 2. So here's 2 sections right here. So 4 by 2. So think of this doubled, and then this below this as well. And like I said, there's only one scenario that uses all the map. Most of the scenarios only use a quarter of it, and you're paying a lot of money for this big map. Viper Dave, what's going on, brother? What's going on, man? So, yeah, if you're like me at all, you're worried about space, highly recommend you go to Wargaming Vault. They sell the PDF files. You can print them out. You can cut the map up into whatever sections, however big or small you need for your scenarios. And you can see I've got the whole map in just a bunch of different sections here. And so now I can just put in, you know, let's see, how would this probably goes like that. This one, oh, this one goes down here like this. So here is, so here's the map from top all the way to the very bottom. So if I just needed this one section, or this one side of the map, I have it all printed out and ready to go. So I'll just, will these even fit in the box? That would be super good, but of course they don't. Of course not. So now I'm going to have to just keep them on my shelf, taking up space. Oh, what a pain, what a pain. So yeah, kind of a bummer that you have to actually go through that, paying for this big map, and not being able to use it because, you know, I don't have the space for it, which is, you know, my thing. You know, that's my issue. I knew buying this, that I was going to be able to put the map on. So it was for me, it was a matter of, do I buy it just to get the counters so I can use the maps that I created, or did I just waste all my time and effort printing out these maps for nothing? So I decided, you know what, I'll buy this. I'll have the counters ready to go, and then I can use the maps that I created instead of the maps that come in the box. It's going to cost me a lot of money for that, but it's, you know, it's good system, and I enjoyed playing the game, so I thought it was worth it. So that's Old School Tactical Volume 1, Stalingrad East Front, 1942-1943. Shane Logan, designer, Mark H. Walker, Flying Pig Games. And yep, you can find out all that information about the game at their website. I still think, it's worth a check out for you guys. And hopefully, if you do have a little bit more gaming space than I have here, hopefully this will be something you'll enjoy and pick up. Alrighty, guys. Thanks to Viper, Brian, Philip, Tom Keeney, Tony. Hope you all have a good evening. We'll see you later tonight. Thanks, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching.